Christmas in July project for Country Craft Creations. Before you get started, the cut list for this project is down below in the description box, so you can go ahead and grab that and get all your papers cut, and then join me in creating this beautiful album. Alright everyone, so let's get our album cover wrapped. So you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that measure 10 by 7, and it's the medium weight. You need one that measures 3 by 10, and yes, the medium weight again. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock, that's the 65-pound weight. And then you're going to need 1 piece to hide your spine inside that measures 9 3/4 by 6. Okay, for tools for the album cover, you're going to need your Fabri-Tac or any wet glue, and you're going to need some score tape, and this is 3/8, and you're also going to need 1/4 inch just to join our 2 papers together. And you're going to need a scissor and a bone folder. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is join our 2 pieces of paper together. And so we're just going to run a piece of score tape. This is the 1/4 inch. So you're just going to run it all along one side of your paper. Then we'll take the backing off, and we will just attach those 2 together right there. Alright, so now you're going to take your spine piece, so the piece that measures 3 by 10, and we're going to put our wet glue all over the back of it, and we're just going to attach it, centering it right on that line where our 2 papers joined, and centering it top and bottom. Alright, now you're going to take your next chipboard, some good glue all over the back of it, and you're going to place it down about 1/8 of an inch away from your other piece that you just put down. Alright, and then we will move over here and place our other piece. Just like so. And we'll just place it right there, leaving again about 1/8 of an inch of a space. Alright, and now we can just flip that whole thing over and give it a good press down. And then come back, and we need to trim some off of both sides there. So leave about 1 inch to wrap the cover. Same thing on this side here. Alright. And now we're just going to fold in all the way around. Alright, now we need to attach our score tape. So we're going to do it all along our edges of our chipboard and all along the edges of our cardstock. so we've got all our tape on. And now we're just going to burnish it down all the way around. Alright, so now we just need to get our corners cut out. So you're going to come up at an angle from this side, not all the way to the chipboard. And then the same thing over here. Not all the way to the chipboard. So we're going to go all around and do that now. Alright, so we've cut out all of those corners. So now what you're going to do is remove two short sides of your tape and your one long side and then one long side from your flap here. And then we're just going to bring that in, press it down. Alright, so now we can go all the way around and give all of that a nice burnish. Just like so. And now we're going to go ahead and attach our piece to hide the spine. And remember, this piece measures 9 3/4 by 6. And I'm just going to add my tape along my where my chipboard meets here, both sides. Remember not to go too far beyond it, because then you're gonna have problems with it sticking out the top. And I'm going to put it all over my spine and then also all over the back of the spine hider piece. Alright, so we've got all our tape attached. So now we're just gonna give it a good burnish down. And I've got it on 4 sides of the back of my spine hider piece. So now we're just gonna go ahead and remove all of our backings. Alright, so now we've got Alright, so now we've got all our backings removed, and we are just going to place our piece, centering it left and right. Just nice and neat top and bottom, because this piece is also going to be lining up with our pages. So if we need it to be center, top, and bottom, so that our pages are then also center, top, and bottom. Alright, so put that on. So give it a good burnish down all over there. Alright, and now we're just going to find our score line where our chipboard meets in there, and just give it a good score. and then we'll do the same thing on this side here, just like so. All right, and then just gently bend it up, and gently bend it up on this side. All right, and then that is the beginnings of our album. All right, so this book has 3 pages with the waterfall hinge. So our pages measure 9 3/4 by 7 3/8, and you're gonna score at 3/4 of an inch and at 1 1/2. Our book does have 3/4 inch gussets. So that's why we're scoring at 3/4 of an inch, and then we're scoring at 1 1/2 because that's gonna give us our waterfall hinge. So we're gonna attach our first page right here, just like this. And we're gonna line it up with the spine hider piece, and then we're gonna attach our hinge about like a 1/16 of an inch from our score line here. So I'm just gonna remove a little bit of the backing of my tape, and I did use 1/2 inch tape because we are using a 3/4 inch gusset. All right, now just remove the rest of that tape and give it a good press down there. Grab my bone folder, press it down. And then the next one, we're gonna line up right beside this one here. Like so, right in there. So again, just remove a bit of the backing of your tape, and then just lay it down, making sure you keep it nice and straight, top and bottom. All right, now so just remove the rest of your backing there. And just press down. Like so. Give it a good burnish. And then we'll just attach our last page. All right, so we've got all of our pages attached now, and you'll notice that our pages are quite a bit shorter than the edge of our book. And the reason is because we're using the waterfall hinge, when we close our book and they straighten out, they're only a 1/4 inch off the front of the book. And that's why we cut them shorter like that, because otherwise, when they're open, they would stick out of the front of the book. Just so in case that concerns you once you have them attached in your book, it's supposed to be like that. All right, so I've decided to wrap my spine with some Kraft cardstock. So I've got a piece here that measures 7 inches by 10. And how I adjust it, because if we just left a 3-inch space in the middle, it wouldn't attach properly here. It would be bowing and it just wouldn't attach properly. So what I do is I know that I need to score 2 inches on both sides. So I know I need to score 2 and 2, and then that's going to give me a 3-inch space in the middle. So what I do is I line up my cardstock and I find the 2-inch mark, and then I just make a little line, just a little notch right on this. So here's my 2-inch mark, and right before it there is a little notch that comes out of the scoreboard, but there's not an actual line there to score at, and that would be the 1/16 of an inch right before the 2. So how I do that is I just make the little mark there, like so, and then I scooch it over until I find a score line, and then I score down. And then I flip it over, I do the same thing. I line it up at 2, and then I make a little mark right before the 2, right where that little notch is. I just make a little mark on my cardstock, and then I move it over and I score it down. And basically all that we're doing is giving ourselves a 1/16 of an inch more on both sides than what we would have if we just scored at 2 inches on both sides. Alright, so I've already attached my score tape to the outside of it, and the middle I'm just going to use the Fabri-Tac because I need wiggle time to attach it, because you do need to move it back and forth a couple times to get it right where you want it. Alright, so just get glue all over that. And then bring your album in. And then I'm just going to stand it up. And I'm going to just line it up with my paper, aligning it to the top. And then I'll bend it around like so, just to make sure I have it in the right place. And give it a good press up and down. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then I can open the book and actually just go in here just between my pages. Give it a good press down. Alright, and now our book is still fairly flat, so it's easier to work with right now. Alright, so now that I've got that done, I'm going to remove this side of my score tape. Alright, and then I'm just going to bring that around and press it onto the book, like so. And go ahead and just give it a good burnish. Alright, and we'll do that on the other side as well. Just remove that backing. And if you're using like a material like lace or fabric, it's easier to wrap your covers in those materials. But I like the paper wrapping as well. Just give it a good burnish down. And there we go. Now we've got our cover, our spine, nice and wrapped. And it's really nice and even. There are no gaps right in here, which is what we corrected by adding that 1/16 of an inch.